Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Growing the Home Garden. If you are a gardener, you are going to run into weeds at some point. Either they're going to come in from seeds from the wind and land in your beds and start to germinate, or you disturb the soil and weeds are going to come out of there. No matter what you do, you're going to have weeds. They are a perpetual problem that you have to find techniques for. So in today's video, I'm going to show you several techniques that I found that are very useful with taking care of some of those pesky weeds like crabgrass or curly dock or things with deep taproots. And you can apply these techniques to lots of different weeds, not just the ones that I am using them on. So let's get into it and take a look at how you can handle your weeds in the garden. So what I've got right here is some crabgrass, and if you look at how it grows, you see it's got these nodes, and at each node it starts to develop roots. Each one of these then puts down those roots and then starts developing more, and it just creeps and creeps and creeps all over the place. So the best way to remove this without using any kind of chemicals or anything is you just kind of grab up all these little stems, because they're just very lightly attached right now, and you take the whole mass, gather them all up, and then I like to give them a twist, and I slowly pull, and there we go. We get most of that root system right out of the ground. You can see there's really nothing left that we can see, and you get the whole plant. It's very easy to do. Right now the ground is dry, but if for some reason you needed extra help with this, water it. That's another great technique for getting rid of weeds, is to water them. So sometimes you may find yourself with a really large clump of crabgrass, and so if you actually just go down to the base of the plant and trace back the outer edges, you can get to your little points here where those pieces of crabgrass have actually started. And once you remove one of those big chunks, it looks a lot more manageable. See, you can see all these big chunks of grass right there. And it doesn't take long before that huge mass of grass is actually pretty easily dealt with. So you just go in there, find the crown of the plant. It really looks much worse than it actually is. Now I was able to get most of that plant completely out just by pulling it, but there are some pesky little crowns here that are holding in. And I'll give them a shot pulling on the root crown. You can see it got pretty good on that one. And right here, give it a twist. And while we're getting some roots, we're not getting everything. So in a case like this, what I would do is come in and well, two things really. Come in and water it, loosen up the soil a little bit so that these roots will come out easier. Or two, let these regrow and then do the technique again. And hopefully at that point, those will get removed a lot easier the second time around. So here I've got another pesky weed that's popped up over here next to this basil plant. And it's really tight in there. So what I'm going to do is just give it a water. I'm going to overflow that particular plant with water. At the same time, I'm watering that basil plant. You can see here, I've got a second one next to it, so I'll water it as well. And once I feel like I've got enough water on it, they should come out nice and easy, or at least easier. Check that out. See the ground? I'm just pulling slowly, and it's coming right out. I'm going to knock off the excess dirt. Get rid of that weed right there. We'll try the neighbor, see how it goes. And there we go. So we very easily get rid of some weeds that are tough. They had a pretty good root system in there in this clay dirt, and the watering really helped get those out of there. The water just loosens up the soil, and at the same time, while we're dealing with these really hot days, we can get the plants that are actually in this garden we want to keep watered. Now sometimes you run across a nasty weed like one of these. This is actually related to tomato and potato plants, being a member of the nightshade family. And if you check out that, look at those thorns, spiky. You try to put your hand on that, that's going to hurt. So basically, if you don't have gloves, like right now I'm not wearing gloves, what you can do is you can just come to the base of the plant and cut it out. Now these will not have enough energy to go more than a couple times. This may come back, but I'm going to clip it down as low as I can get my pruners in, and hopefully that will not emerge. This is also a technique you can use if you happen to have a weed that is too close to the base of a plant to actually pull, where you're afraid that you might actually damage the main plant. But here I'm just going to chop it up a little bit with my pruners without actually having to injure myself on the spikes here. And I will let it decompose and dry out in place. And that's one way to deal with those. The best way, obviously, is probably to pull it out by the roots, but as you can tell, it's a little hard to grab from the stem. One thing I do notice on these is that if you grab from the very crown right here by using a pair of gloves, because you'll probably spike yourself anyway, but if you grab at the very crown of where that is, a lot of times there aren't a lot of spikes right there, in which case you can grab at the base and pull it out. But I definitely recommend you wear some gloves to do this, or just kind of cheat a little bit and chop it up into future compost. And here's another weed killing tip that is quite lethal: boiling water. So let's take this plant here, for example. This is curly dock, and it's in a spot I don't want it. It does have some benefits to it. It's edible when it's young and fresh, but I don't want it here. And it's got a really long, deep taproot that I don't know if I can pull out. One alternative is to dig it, but if I've got boiling water, I can just pour right on the center of the plant with the boiling water, and it will go straight down to the root, and it should kill it. I've got a second one right here. We'll do that too. Now you can see a little bit of an immediate effect where it's starting to wilt. You can see, watch that leaf go down just like that. It did not like that at all. And so we'll come back later and we'll take a look at it. You'll see what the effect is in a couple of hours. And it may regrow from the stem. If it didn't get all the way down into that taproot, it may have enough energy to re-exert itself, but then again, at that point, you can just do it again and it will probably take care of this plant. Had a stubborn crabgrass that just wouldn't come out. Like we were talking about earlier, you can do the same, boiling water right over top of it. And there you go. One thing to note is that boiling water is non-selective, meaning it will kill whatever it touches. So I don't recommend you doing it around plants that you want to keep alive. Use it for things that are a little bit more separated that you need to clear out. Or another alternative is to use it in between your paving stones. If you want to clear out the weeds between your pavers, boiling water will do the trick. All right, so here you can see the curly dock. This is about 1 hour later. It is completely dying right here in the middle. The foliage there is all icky and gross looking, and we'll see. A few days from now, this may rejuvenate and come back, and we might have to do it again. But a few treatments of this boiling water will eventually get these taken care of. I hope you found this video helpful. If it was helpful in getting rid of some of your weeds, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Growing the Home Garden. Thanks for watching.